Hey everyone, Geophysicist Stefan Burns here. We have a stream of comets right now flying in the inner solar system, 2 sun grazers and a big comet following up later this April. That's going to be perfectly positioned in between the Earth and the Sun. That is C2025 R3 PANSTARRS. But before that, we see that we had a comet fly into the Sun. We've been tracking this. This is C2026 A1 maps. It had its perihelion on the 4th. In fact, it went from a sun grazer to a sun diver comet because we see it come in here and it did not survive its perihelion in a cometary form. Instead, it was ejected outwards as this plasmoid. So it was flying through the solar corona, millions of degrees Kelvin, vaporized and ionized directly into a plasma, and then its velocity allowed it to keep moving away from the sun along its original trajectory without being bent around by the gravity of the sun. So we see that plasmoid go out there, and then it seems dispersed into the interplanetary medium and the solar wind, but it travels out with some structure for quite a while. So that's a very interesting outcome to this sun grazing, sun diving comet that we've been tracking. Thankfully, no big space weather event, but we do have a new sun grazer coming in right now, following along the exact same trajectory as A1 map. So again, watch the trajectory of that comet. It came in like this. You'll see at the very end of this C3 coronagraph today, the 8th of April, you'll see a very faint right point of light come in. And this is this new sun grazer comet. See it right there? And then it jumps forward a little bit, the video. That's our new sun grazer comet. So that's flying in right now. That's not expected to do anything significant. We do get these sort of sun diving comets to appear every now and then. And usually if they're small enough, they just fly in, nothing happens. So that's what's expected with this new sun diver coming in. Also part of the Kreutz sun grazing family. And very interesting how it's following along the exact same trajectory as A1 map. So clearly connected together, these two small cometary fragments are. So perhaps we have more coming as well. That cannot be ruled out. We didn't know about this second sun grazer, sun diver comet just discovered in the past 24 hours or so. Until then, we could have another sun grazer, sun diver from the same lineage come in within this month, maybe next month. It's certainly a heightened probability now because we're seeing 2 of these back to back within just a few days. Now, we do have a comet worth tracking, and this may end up being the great comet of 2026 should no other contender show up or arise for the remainder of the year, because we already have C2025 R3 PANSTARRS brightening quite dramatically. Let's look at the orbit before we look at the brightness data. Here it is right now. It's coming in from above the ecliptic plane, as you can see, swinging in like this. And the key thing here to note, one of the key things at least, is that it's getting pretty close to the sun. It's not a sun grazer, but it's getting right to about the orbit of Mercury. And what I've seen from what I've been tracking is that comets that get fairly close to Mercury's orbit, they're the ones that are really, really active. Think like Shuchen-Shan back in 2024, October. It was very similar in this regard. And look here, it's cutting right through the ecliptic plane like this at an angle. And if we hit forward here, we will see, boom, it forms this alignment effectively right with the Earth. So let me move that over for you guys. And we see this coming in. We'll go forward to the 25th. And we see this alignment looking very, very nice on the 24th, 25th, 26th of April right there. The perihelion of this comet's on the 19th right here. So that's its actual closest approach to the sun. And then we get this all of a sudden to click into place, this Sun-Comet-Earth alignment right here. So I, for one, think that that is a very suitable solar trigger as it relates to a significant space weather event. That does not mean it's guaranteed to do so, but that is the sort of alignment and the sort of factors that we look at for forecasting at a higher likelihood some sort of significant space weather. The other key thing to note here is that if we go back to today, we had A1 maps fly into the sun from the far side, effectively hit on the far side. You know, we saw that plasma get ejected out, but you wonder how much plasma actually did stick around in the sun Maybe the heavier ions stuck around, the lighter ones flew out. We don't really know. But if it did fly in and it created an area of solar disturbance and more flux and maybe some sunspots formed as a result, we could be getting a big sunspot rotating into view and being Earth-centered direct right around that time frame, because it takes 2 weeks to complete half a rotation for the sun, which is 28 days. So you go from the 4th of April and you add on 2 to 3 weeks. Well, 2 weeks takes you to about the 18th, right around the perihelion of R3 maps. If you do 3 weeks, so depending on where it hit on the sun, it could take 3 weeks for it to then reach that Earth center position. That's right around this alignment. So we very well could have a significant sunspot on the Earth-facing side of the sun that reformed as a result, perhaps, of the C2026 A1 MAPS comet impact and resultant plasma ejection when we have this cometary alignment right here, which is quite significant. Sun, PANSTARRS, and Earth right around the 25th, 26th of April. And PANSTARRS is definitely a comet to watch because we can look here at its light curve and it's quite bright. So it's significantly brighter than A1 MAPS was at distances further out from the sun. MAPS turned out to be not the best comet in terms of keeping up with brightening and becoming a significant comet. And right now it's clicking in at about magnitude 6. Some visual observations coming at 5.6. So this is a bright comet. You can see this now if you have the right location, northern hemisphere at the right time with binoculars. It shows up really nicely with the telescope. Here you can see a new image of R3 PANSTARRS taken just recently. So you can see it has this beautiful long tail attached to it. As a result of that, we're seeing that's very active. I think we could see this electromagnetic coupling occur between the sun, the comet, and Earth, and this could coincide with a significant period of space weather, maybe more solar flares just in general. That's what we saw with Shuchen-Shan in 2024, is that we had that comet fly through and all of a sudden the sun just started belching out tons of high magnitude M-class flares, X-class solar flares. That's certainly possible with this transit, and it's all happening when there's critical heliocentric planetary geometry. That is another factor that we track as relates to space weather. And well, it's all converging around the same time. Here it is for April 8th today, but let's just go forward right to the 20th and I'll just kind of go through these different alignments. We see here an Earth, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, Neptune alignment. That's big. It's really precise for these four, but Neptune is still pretty much there. We also have this Earth, Venus, Uranus alignment. The exact alignments may be a few days on either side of the 20th of April, but in general, it's all clustered around the same time frame. We have a Mercury, Sun, Jupiter alignment. That's quite big. You have the biggest planet in the solar system in this alignment with the sun, and then the planet closest to the sun. So interesting dynamics can play out there as a result. You have a Venus, Saturn, Neptune alignment, as we can see right here. That's quite significant. And there are, just in general, a lot of these different forces converging at this moment in time. So this is definitely a time period to watch already from a heliocentric planetary geometry point of view. And then you add in R3 PANSTARRS, and you add in the fact that maybe we have some enhanced solar flux from the sundiving action and vaporization of Comet C2026A1 MAPS. And we also just see simply that we have another sun grazer coming in right now. So clearly there's a lot of activity as it relates to comets, the sun, the position of the planets, and more. It just seems April is a big month. So expect some big events to occur later on, I think, as it relates to space weather. Comets, of course, are also have traditionally been seen as omens of change and more. So that's something to be mindful of as well, especially for R3 PANSTARRS. It's probably going to be very, very bright in the sky. I think it's going to be a really fantastic event for people to go out and see and to improve their astronomy chops a little bit, to get a camera, get some binoculars. I think it's going to be very similar to Shuchen Shan, which a lot of people saw as the sun was setting after it performed its perihelion. So I'll keep you up to date on all that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay in the know. Smash that thumbs up button to help the channel grow. I've been your host, Stefan Burns. Thank you all so much. Wishing each and every single one of you well. Please take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next video.